So, welcome everybody to our third or final Creoate webinar in our Creoate week. For those of you that are new to Creoate, this is our anniversary. 2 years ago, we founded Creoate, and instead of celebrating one day, we decided, why don't we celebrate the entire month? And this will be the Creoate month. And on our Creoate week, we're going to have a trade show with lots of discounts and offers and a lot of brands, and also some content from webinars, for retailers. And this is going to be our wholesale workshop where we're going to try to help you out and share some insight from some of our wholesalers. The goal of this is to show how to make your product stand out in a crowd. Right now, we know there is a lot of competition in our space. So what is the kind of thing that has worked for some of our wholesalers to try to get their products to stand out? So thank you so much for joining. Who am I? Everybody's probably asking. It's like, who's this guy talking? My name is Will. I'm the CMO of Creoate, and I am very pleased to have you here with us. We are going to do a lot more of this type of content that is going to be educational in nature. So I'm very excited for this to actually be one of the first. So why don't we go a little bit, unfortunately, over some house rules. Very simple ones, don't worry. First is use the chat respectfully, please. Keep your audio muted at all times during the presentation, unless you're asked to speak or something. If you have any questions, definitely post them in the chat, and we will get to them at the end of the webinar. And most of all, please enjoy this webinar. We do this for you guys. If somebody's new, you might be asking also, maybe you signed up for this event on social media or one of our ads, and you might be thinking to yourself, so what is Creoate? And I'm going to put like my marketing hat on right now. I don't have a hat with me, but I probably should. And what is Creoate? Well, obviously, Creoate is a platform that seeks to empower wholesalers and retailers by putting them in contact. So really, we want to make sure that all wholesalers can actually get in touch with independent retailers, whether you have an online store, whether you have a retail store, or even if you're selling on Instagram for that matter. We want to make sure that you guys have accessibility to a whole variety of products wherever you're located, and provide those kind of connections, both from the retail side, but as well for the wholesaler or the creator to be exposed to a wider range of possible buyers. It is with that I welcome you, and it is now my pleasure to introduce you to your host. This is Joao. Joao, take it from here, man.
Thank you so much, Will. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll get to the good part very soon. We just wanted to introduce the reason for having these wholesale workshops that we plan on having over the coming months. Our mission here at Creoate from the brand side is to help brands grow, to empower brands to think bigger, to sell internationally, sell online better. So these are three of the main elements that we can help brands with in general. So we help brands accelerate their profits by improving their online experience, their shopping experience, so that they don't have to spend so much on expensive ads and trade shows. We also help brands in all their finances and payments processing issues, so you never have to wait to get paid on time again. And thirdly, we provide free shipping and all-in-one solution for your wholesale online. So without further ado, let's just get into our content for today. So just a quick agenda before we get started. These are the brands that have joined our panel today. They will be sharing their entrepreneurial stories, their brand stories, and tactics about how to delight customers and how to be truly customer-centric. So to begin, we're going to have Print 19, followed by Unique Essence, followed by Billy Moth, followed by Asme Ayurveda, then Ecozone Lifestyle, Elif Kosi, and Moorex. I hope you enjoy our conversation today. And without further ado, I'd just like to introduce you to our brand partnerships manager here at Creoate, Anna.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining our webinar today. I'm Anna, as Joelle said. I'm a brand partnership manager here at Creoate. I've been incredibly fortunate to work very closely with some of our incredible sellers here on Creoate, and I really wanted to give you an insight into the type of brands that we work with. So today we have 7 of those brands joining us as panelists. They're going to tell us a bit about themselves and answer a few questions about how they came to develop their brands. So I'll give you a short introduction to each of one of them, and then we'll jump into some questions. So yeah, first up, we have Print19. So Print19 is a brand run by Natalie, based here in the UK. Natalie is a botanical printmaker with a love for interiors and designing, and her products are beautifully curated. She has a big focus on ensuring all materials are used as sustainable and sourced locally. So welcome, Natalie. Can you tell me what's your entrepreneurial story? We might just be having a technical problem here. Natalie, are you able to speak?
Unmute it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're all good. I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie. I'm based in Devon in England. And yeah, I started my business in October 2019. So only a few months before coronavirus hit, really. And initially, my first sort of main focus for the business was to run print workshops and also make my own artwork to be able to sell. And initially, it started just with retail sales. So I started my website. Then coronavirus hit, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to run many of my workshops. So I sort of had to think quickly and change my business and went more into creating products, selling online. And then as that developed throughout the year, people were asking, oh, can I buy this for shops? And I was thinking, oh, yes, but I don't know where to start with it. So I sort of joined Creoate about 10 months ago now. And that's sort of been the start of my wholesale journey. And yeah, it's been great. And it's nice to be able to now have a job where I can pick my children up from school and work my own hours. Previous to that, I was a teacher for 10 years, an hour commute and 2 young kids. And I just thought, you know what, I want to have a go at doing something myself and creating myself again. And actually, I've really enjoyed going into wholesale. And if it probably wasn't for coronavirus, I probably wouldn't have done that, because the main focus probably would have been the workshop still. But it's been lovely seeing my products in shops locally and further afield. Yeah, so that's my story, really.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Thank you for sharing. And what would you say have you found is the way that you delight your customers?
So I feel that the quality of the product is something that I'm really passionate about, making sure that everything is sustainable as possible. For example, I've always used my cards with biodegradable cellos that are sourced from England and another small business actually. But I've also recently got the little plastic-free peel slips on them. So that's really good. So I can offer them on either the biodegradable sleeve or those. So all biodegradable packaging for prints as well. And then my wrapping paper is all printed on recycled paper, again locally, so only like 10 minutes from my house, which is ideal, and a really nice quality, all recycled. So I think quality of the product, sustainability, and also like as a collection of things, I think is quite nice to have everything cohesive and nice. They might buy a few different things when they order, and as a collection, yeah, for their shops.
Amazing. And what would you say is your biggest accomplishment of the past year?
Probably launching my range of gift wrap. I'd actually never designed like a repeat pattern before, but I've always wanted to do it, even throughout my teaching career. But there's never enough time to play with things. So that for me was like a learning curve, but I've absolutely loved at the moment, the 5 designs that I've got for the gift wrap. And also launching into wholesale, because like I said at the beginning of my business idea and plan, that wasn't actually something that I had even come across. Being in a teaching and educational background, I didn't come from a marketing background. I haven't come from something that I've known about these things. And I've always loved like products and shops and looking at design and stuff. So that's been really fun to play around with packaging design as well, particularly for wholesale, because I think you do have to change it up a little bit sometimes. For example, if someone bought something online direct from my website, I necessarily wouldn't have, I don't send it with the little tab information on. Whereas I feel in a shop, you have to think about capturing that customer's eye immediately. And also I used to have it on the back, but I realized not many people are going to be picking up stuff unless they really like it. So I think having as much information on the front as possible, but discreetly enough so you can still see the product, is quite important. And again, this is just a paper slip and a biodegradable sticker in a biodegradable sleeve on recycled card. So, and I feel like that for me now, I've got to a point where I'm happy with that. Of course, it'll probably change again in another few months, but it's a journey as you're going through wholesale and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And yeah, it's a good journey to be on.
Definitely. And I guess it ties quite nicely into what the biggest obstacle you've had over the past year, or kind of, is there any like thing you've learned in particular about, you know, growing your business?
Yeah, I think it's just learning as you go and adapting all the time. I think for me, during lockdown particularly, well, it was also the juggling of homeschool, wasn't it then? But it was, I grew quite quickly on different platforms. So Etsy, not on the high street, my own website, you guys also doing my direct wholesale. So that for me was like managing time for everything has been something I'm still managing now and trying to put in place. So something for this year, I'm trying to work more in chunks of time and thinking about where the sales pockets are across the year. But I've also started to reintroduce my workshops now. So they start again in 2 weeks' time. So that's the first time I've done them in 2 years. So now I've got that side of the business potentially growing as well. So we'll see how it goes. It's all fun. And I think you've got to just try it and go for these things and learn as you go along, really.
Yes, definitely agree. It's all a learning curve. And yeah, every day is a new lesson. And then finally, last question is, kindest thing anyone has ever done for you?
And probably my husband and my friends and family, just being supportive when I did hand in that notice at work to say I'm leaving and going to make a better sort of I don't know, I say work-life balance. I think I work more now, but it's for me and what I want to be doing. So it's like more enjoyable, isn't it? I don't get that Sunday night dread anymore. I get excitement. Kids are going to school and I get to do my own work, and it's all fun.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Natalie, for sharing with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I might not be able to stay to the end for any questions because I've got to shoot off, but if anyone's got any questions, let them know. I'm sure Anna and Will let me know.
Yeah, of course. If they want to pop them in the chat now, you can always respond to them there.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Bye. Okay, so moving on to our next mini moth is run by Karen, an artist who paints colourful flower paintings using ink pens, neat alcohol and some wild imagination. Her style features include bold sky backgrounds and wild grass foregrounds. All paintings are created on sustainable materials as well. Welcome, Karen. I'd love to hear a bit more about your story and how you created the brand.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me on here today. And sorry if you saw my cat earlier on attacking me.
No problem.
He likes to join in everything. Well, my story really is I have a retail background. I've worked in cards, gifts and prints for most of my life, really. And I've always had an interest in making and designing beautiful things as well as selling them. So I've just been very interested in that whole sector. I had no formal training, but I did realise after quite a few years that I wanted to do something myself within this sector and become self-employed, making something. I just didn't know what. So I basically dabbled for a few years. I made some costume jewellery, I upcycled furniture, did acrylic paintings of underwater landscapes, all sorts of things I did. Trying to decide what was my thing really. And then eventually on Instagram, I kept seeing alcohol inks popping up all the time. And I just decided I loved it. The fluidity and movement of it was just absolutely beautiful. The colours are so vibrant, but there's a translucency to it as well. It's just beautiful. And at the same time, when something happened in 2009 to make life very difficult, put it that way, I started having a love of my garden. So the two things came parallel in that I wanted to recreate my garden, and becoming a painter and just interpreting the beauty I saw out there and selling as cards and prints seemed like the ideal thing for me. And it's something now I'm very happy with, and it feels like me. And I seem to have customers who identify with my journey and you know what I'm trying to express really. So yeah, I'd say that's my story.
That's really amazing to hear. And what would you say is your mission and your vision for your brand kind of moving forward?
It's just basically to keep improving what I'm doing. It's on a very basic level, it's to just create beauty and joy and share it with the world. Not necessarily everybody, but obviously on Creoate, we're all very small brands, and we all have a niche, which is, you know, the excellent thing about being a small business. You have a niche where you sit, where like-minded people will really enjoy your products and will come to you because they love what you do and identify with it. And so it's my mission really to improve what I'm doing so I can keep doing that better and better to the customer really. And I find it hugely exciting. I know it's going in the right direction because the feedback and reviews I get from people, whether I'm selling, you know, because I sell at fairs and online and through wholesale platforms like yourself, I find it so thrilling when I'm getting this feedback, and it just vindicates what you're doing to show that you're doing something right and people are liking it and agreeing with you, seeing the world in a similar way, I suppose.
Definitely. Really great to hear your experiences. And what would you say has been your biggest accomplishment over the last year?
One of the biggest things I started selling, as you know, through the sales I've had with you, I started selling to the States, and I got my products into the Memphis Botanic Garden and the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, and I was just so thrilled about that. For me, as a garden and plant lover, I just found that hugely exciting. That I've, you know, somebody who is like, you know, whose customers are hugely interested in plants wants to stock my work alongside of that, and I was hugely grateful really for that. And also, what was the other thing now? Yes, I at the end of last year, I had some business mentoring in Derby, and it's kind of changed the way I think about my business, really. It allowed me to take a step back and look at my business objectively and see how I want to go forward. I think I was getting bogged down in the mire of details, and it was good to take a step back and really look at everything and look at the big picture and see what I enjoy, what I want to do, not just what I need to do, but what I want to do as well, and make sure that it sort of runs alongside my life in a way that suits everything. So I would recommend to anybody to have some mentoring, because it's just fabulous to take you out of your own head.
I can imagine completely. Yeah, that must be really great, and really great that you touched upon getting orders from the US as well. We're really trying to promote that cross-border ability through Creoate, so people can really expand their brands on our site. And then in terms of like your biggest obstacle, have you found that you've had any particular obstacle in the past year with coronavirus or any supply chain issues? Be really great to hear.
Definitely with coronavirus, yeah. I think like everybody, it's just affected shop sales that I'm in. It's affected craft and art fairs that I usually attend. It actually improved my online sales, so that was good. But yeah, it's something that hopefully this year we're all going to slowly move forward, learn from everything that's happened, because I think everybody's learned such valuable lessons from it, and you know, make the right changes from that. But the main thing I think I've overcome, it's just working with myself, overcoming my own obstacles, in such as like low energy levels, knowing when my energy is at a peak and when it's low, when I need to rest, not thinking I need to do everything all at once, because that doesn't work. It's just, it's like Natalie touched on earlier, it's your time management and learning who you are and why you are, and how you want to operate your business. And you know, when you're self-employed, it's a big part of your life. It's the whole bit of your life balance, really. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson. I feel this year, obviously we're only 26 days into it, but I really feel like I'm making progress with the mentoring, the things I've learned from that, and with just recognizing myself. I'm going forward in such a happy way. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I think my internet dropped out there for a second. Thank you so much for sharing. And then final question, the kindest thing anyone has ever done for you?
Oh gosh, without a doubt, I think probably not ever, but the one that really springs to mind, last autumn, I just designed all my autumn and Christmas prints and cards. Finally made the order. I got all my plans for the shops and everything I was going to get it in, and advertising and such like. And my print order went missing. And a long story, which I'll not bore you with, but I explained to my printers about it, that I needed to reprint everything, and they agreed to just do it all for free for me. And I was so relieved and so grateful. I just cried on the phone. And yeah, so it's so important to work with somebody. The third-party printer I work with in the UK is just amazing, and it helps so much to know you've got the support of other businesses as well. And yeah, they were fabulous. That was so kind.
Wow, yeah, that does sound it. How amazing to have such good relationships with your suppliers. Thanks so much, Karen, for coming on.
Thank you.
We appreciate you talking today. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next brand. So our next brand is Asme Ayurveda, and they're here to tell them about themselves. The brand is run by Murali and a team. Murali grew up in Kerala in India, and his products have been inspired heavily by his upbringing. The lifestyle brand has a beautiful selection of tea accessories, and relaxing oils. All items are sourced and manufactured in Europe. Welcome, Murali.
Thank you.
And so could you tell me a bit about your brand story and what's the mission and vision for your brand?
Well, yeah, as you said, I grew up in Kerala in India. We just never called it Ayurveda. So to the age of 17, I'd never even used a shampoo. Every time we wanted to use a shampoo, we'd like pluck some hibiscus leaves and my mom would make a paste out of it. And that was it. Well, I'm not a good example for the fact that it works, but everyone else in my family, they have great hair. And we had all the herbs that we needed from our garden. And then I left the farm to do my higher studies, and then worked in Asia and Africa, and then moved to Germany about 11 years ago. And then I saw that there's huge potential. People are really interested in Ayurveda, but either you have really good products, but they look really bad packaging, a lot of plastic, or you have products that are more lifestyle focused and not that really into Ayurveda in terms of content and production. So what I wanted to combine, because my background is in design and marketing, was to combine good design with authentic Ayurveda, but also made sustainably, because it doesn't make sense to have products made far away and to have it shipped. Of course, there's no tea that grows in Europe, but we try to do everything else here. And one of the important aspects that I always considered was to work with people with disabilities, So all the teas are hand-filled at a facility for differently able people. So that means that every tea is, or the labels are not always stuck correctly, or there's always some tilt to it, but then it makes it quite human. Yeah, and we started with teas, but we also have oils, and yeah, soon we probably would also have a deep sleep oil. That's something that we use in Ayurveda to have a small massage of your feet and your forehead. Can really help you put to sleep, especially with the long screen times that we're having these days.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling us a bit about your brand. And then how do you personally delight your customers?
So, I mean, this applies probably more to retail B2C than B2B customers, but even all our orders, even with the stores, they all get a nicely handwritten card. I mean, here you see a small picture of the small oils. I mean, this is how we send it with a lot of wooden chips inside. And we have a 30-day return. So if the product is, I mean, if the customer is not happy, we don't ask any questions. But we don't throw away. It's not like Amazon that we dump everything into a big incinerator. We donate it to some social projects in Germany. Yeah.
Amazing. And then what would you say your brand's superpower is? What do you do the best?
Well, there's not one thing that we say we are the best. I'm sure there are more authentic, more medicinal Ayurveda brands, and of course there are better designed products as well, and there are probably even more sustainable products. But the way we combine all of these together is what makes it unique. For example, the boxes, the tea boxes, that's made in Munich, near Munich, by the last remaining maker of such boxes. There are only 3 in Europe and 1 in Germany. So this commitment to sustainability that we say, okay, even if it costs like at least 2.5 times more than a box that you get in China, we continue to remain the only tea maker, tea brand in Germany at least, that uses German-made packaging.
Great, thank you. And then what would you say has been your biggest accomplishment over the year?
Well, as some of the speakers before me said, just to have the trust in to move forward. I mean, as founders or people who are self-employed, you kind of get bogged down by everyday operational challenges and kind of miss the big picture. But at some point last year, I kind of had a switch. I probably can blame it on being in India. It really helps you to have some bit of distance from Germany. That finally you should have some fun doing what you're doing. And then I wasn't really sure if you can make the switch from being just a tea brand to having also oils and how much customers would trust that. But that kind of happened quite okay. And we were also featured in Vogue and Elle and so on. So it was a very, very positive feedback. So that kind of empowered me to go on and further in this direction. So we're working on some other exciting new products.
Wow, how exciting to hear. And definitely worth enjoying your everyday, you know, it's what makes it worth it at the end of the day, ensuring that you're having fun and enjoying the process. And then final question, kindest thing anyone has ever done for you?
Oh, well, I mean, I was bootstrapping and probably still bootstrapping in that sense, but I had a talk with my bank manager, and he actually, normally the image that you have of a German bank manager is that, you know, they always try to avoid risk. But this was a young chap, and he was like, great that you're so focused on sustainability. And he approved a credit like more than what I asked for. So, I mean, of course, I have to pay it back, no doubt. But the fact that someone kind of trusts you to kind of manage the credit and to pay it back without even having a single euro of sales at that point of time, that's something that I would never forget.
Amazing, great to hear. And thank you so much for your contribution to our panel today. We really appreciate it. And it's really great hearing more about your brand and your products and how you came to develop your brand. We're now moving on to Ecozone Lifestyle. So Ecozone Lifestyle is run by Dipper and based in the UK. Ecozone Lifestyle focuses on beautiful, sustainable and reusable products to help tackle and reduce the amount of waste produced in our homes every day. Welcome, Dipper. It's so great to have you as a panelist. So can you tell me, what's your entrepreneurial story?
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much for having me around. First of all, hello everyone. In spite of having a successful career, I always wanted to do something that can bring awareness to a greener environment. I made a decision on a project that will be sustainable and eco-friendly, which will directly benefit small businesses and people with jobs. And this actually came true over the pandemic, like probably most of you out there. So I went on furlough and always like having a busy roller coaster life with children, husbands, and just family. Being on furlough, COVID was just a complete full stop, and it was a very big sudden shock to my system. So in the loads of spare time, I decided to do something completely different and for the environment and less privileged communities. This is when Ecozone Lifestyle and El Cobra was born. So like, our main aim is to eliminate plastic from our day-to-day lifestyle, reduce our waste, and be more conscious of the choices that we make to inspire. That's what inspired us to create Ecozone Lifestyle and provide eco-friendly products.
Amazing to hear. Yeah, it's really been such a big focus we've seen in the marketplace over the last 2 years, the push on sustainability, and it's so great to even hear from all the brands how much they're thinking of working sustainability into their products. And then I guess, what would you say is your brand superpower?
Our brand superpower, it's well, I believe to be a successful entrepreneur. So we thrive, we work really hard to source the best quality of the products, and all this comes from India, and they're all developed by artisans in India. We personalize our packaging so that we can increase more brand awareness and to ensure safe and secure shipping as well, especially when our packaging is personalized. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And customer feedback is the most important thing, which we take very, very seriously. And we literally act upon each individual feedback.
Yeah, it's so important. So yeah, thank you for sharing. And then just because I'm conscious of time, what would you say is the kindest thing that anyone has ever done for you, and how has it helped your brand?
Or just similar to everyone else that I said, the kindest thing would be receiving positive feedback from customers. That really means a lot to us. The positive reviews that we receive only help us in promoting, but also motivate us even better to get our brand out there much better or improve anything that customers want. So we literally look forward to all the feedbacks that we receive from the customers. That's the main kindest thing that we literally believe in.
Definitely. It's so great to get that feedback from customers. Well, thank you so much, Dipper, for sharing your story with us and telling us a bit more about your brand. And we'll now move on to Elif Koze. So Elif Koze is a passionate fashion designer based in Rockingdean in the UK. Elif's mission is for every woman who wears her designs to feel empowered and beautiful. The brand focuses on holding small collections to contribute towards the fight against fast fashion. Welcome, Elif. I believe you're actually traveling for work at the moment. How nice to be able to do that again.
Yeah. Hi.
Brand story. Hi.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So can you tell us a bit about your brand story?
Of course. Well, as a brand, Elif Koze has been my childhood dream, but I never thought I would actually make it reality one day. And I started in the UK as an alteration girl on a bike as a mobile alteration service, with the vision one day to turn my childhood passion into reality. Because I didn't have any startup money, I just had to keep on working and creating my dream as I went along. And after 3 years of doing that, I set up my brand and opened my first store. And now I'm just growing rapidly. So it's so good to be able to share my story with everybody.
Wow, sounds super exciting. And what would you say, like, how do you delight your customers?
Oh, I ask them what they would like, what they want from an outfit. Their opinion is so important for me. I wouldn't design a single collection without their opinions, their input. I would ask them the colors. I would always survey my clients because they are the ones who's going to buy them. They are the ones who's going to enjoy them. And I will just enjoy seeing them enjoying it. So it's very important for me to ask to them.
Amazing. Yeah, I totally agree. The customer has to be the first person you're speaking with. And then what would you say is your brand superpower?
Women, we dress, and I am inspired by every single woman I get to meet, and women in the history. And I just, I think that's our power. And because we put the real woman in the center of our designs and every decision I make, I think that's what our power, and everything that we design always reflects the desires of the woman who will wear it. And all my clothes are designed for women who want to take their confidence and feel fantastic when they wear it. And that's what my superpower is.
Oh, that's really amazing to hear. And how would you say that marketplaces have helped your business over the last couple of years?
Well, I must admit, when at the beginning of the pandemic, I was panicking as a retail store owner because I had set up my business on the basis of people walking into my store, and it was very important for me. And when we went into the lockdown, I started panicking, but gratefully, I got to meet Creoate team, and through you, I opened my eyes into a different world. And now we're selling globally. I wouldn't have dreamed of doing something like this, but thanks to you and your team and Will, it's been a great pleasure to be part of your and one of your brands. It's really helped to grow my business.
Wow, that's really amazing to hear, and thanks so much for sharing the feedback. And then final question, what is the kindest thing that anyone has ever done for you?
The kindest thing I have had, when at the beginning of the pandemic, I got panicked and I put everything in the store on over 50% discount to sell, and I felt so stressed and I didn't know what to do. And one of my local women walked into store and she gave me the full price for the item that she bought to say, I want to see you at the end of this when we come out. And that made me cry. Even telling you now makes me emotional, because for me, the real person is in the center of my brand, and seeing they care for me and all the other brands out there meant so much. So for her to say, I want to see you on the other end, and paying the full price on something was clearly priced 50%, just showed I had to keep on going.
Definitely. It's really the small gestures that mean the most, isn't it?
Absolutely. The kindness goes a long way.
What a lovely customer you had.
I know. I feel so privileged to have people like that. And I feel so good that I've managed to create this kind of relationship with my customers. So they want my success more than I want for myself. So that's so important for me.
So lovely. Thanks so much for your contributions today.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And our final brand of the day is Moorex, based in Vienna and owned by Halim and her partner. After years of traveling across the world and taking inspiration from their many homes, they decided to grow their home, bath and beach textiles brand. The products are beautiful and focus on using environmentally friendly materials. So for Moorex, what's your entrepreneur story? Oh, we can't hear you. You've got your microphone muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we've got you.
Okay. Great,
Hi.
great. Hi, I'm a medical doctor and my husband is an electronic engineer, but we worked as diplomats for more than 25 years. Well, I'm old, by the way. And then 2 years ago, we decided to settle down and start a new business and live a normal life. And then we came up with the idea of Moorex. We wanted to bring, originally we are from Turkey, we wanted to bring sustainable, if possible, handmade and eco-friendly textiles, garments or home textiles to the EU. And well, we founded our company in 2020, and like many of entrepreneurs, we started this business like 1 week before the lockdown, first lockdown. And then for 1 year, we didn't do basically many things. We couldn't do many things. But then last year, we became active in the market in the beginning of June. Yeah. And then we're basically in the market for less than 1 year. And meanwhile, we were in markets, B2B, B2C fairs, and of course on online platforms like Creoate, thank you. And so I think this is the story of our entrepreneurship.
Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. And then what would you say has been the biggest obstacle you have overcome over this past year?
Well, of course, the pandemic. I mean, not only that we had to sit at home, locked down, being able to do nothing, being present on the market, but also I believe that every balance has changed during this time. We were talking to our friends, clients, and many other people brand owners, and everything they said, we feel like belong to another time, like the efficiency of a market had changed totally, or any kind of idea of owning a shop, a physical retail shop, was not the same, was not at the same place anymore. So the biggest obstacle was we felt alone and trying to invent or trying to figure out something by ourselves.
Wow, thank you for sharing. And then quick fire for the last question. What is the kindest thing that anybody has ever done for you and your brand?
Well, the kindest thing for us was, I believe that we're working with 2 different brands from Turkey. They are high-end, elegant designer brands. One is home textile and one is a women fashion brand. When we went to talk to them, even though we were not sellers or on the market for years, we were real startup business. They didn't hesitate to let us be the authorized wholesalers and retailer in the EU. They are working. They are producing their garments from natural fibers. They're making combinations of linen and cotton, bamboos, and tencel, and they are producing their products by the help of local ladies at their homes, weaving and sewing. And they're really they're 2 valuable brands, and we're proudly that they let us be here, proudly present them. And so I think this was the most important and kindest things has anyone could have done in this process for us.
Wow, that's really amazing to hear.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing. And I think that's a wrap on all our panelists presenting. So thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate you showcasing your brands, telling us about yourselves a bit more. It's been really amazing. And now I am passing back on to Joao, I believe.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you so much for staying till now, for joining us, our panelists. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think Will just has some final words. Will? Ooh. I believe he must have dropped off. I'll just cover it. So this is Creoate month. As you all know, we have 3 very special offers that are only valid until the end of January. First of all, you would get 20% off any order with your first order, but without any minimum value, with an additional 10% off your next 2 orders. And in case you're a new customer with Creoate, you can use the code Creoate25 to claim 25 off your first order with us. And we have the big special one just for this last week of January, which is if you spend £400 on Creoate, you get £200 off. Just use the code TAKE200. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. And please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, if there's any. If you'd like to be part of our next wholesale workshop, which should be happening in the next couple of weeks. So thank you very much for joining, and thank you to our panel.
Thank you very much, everybody. What a delight it was to hear from all of you. I mean, we're going to definitely be doing a lot more of these events. Unfortunately, I kind of dropped off my internet like it always happens. But I did want to give a special mention and thanks to everybody, all of our panelists. What wonderful stories. I mean, so inspiring. And it is truly, this might sound like I'm putting on my marketing hat on again, but it's truly not. It is truly a privilege and an honor to have your brands with us. And this is honestly the reason why we do this. We really take a big, part of the drive of this company is really impacting others' lives. And I want to personally thank each and every one of you. Another thanks to our hosts, Joao and Anna. Thank you very much. And again, like Joao said, thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful evening and enjoy the Creoate week.